This is the Lazy Teacher Podcast.
Welcome back to the Lazy Teacher Podcast. This is episode 36, Home Communication. Yeah, good afternoon. This is Mr. Pulowski. Is this Johnny's mom?
Yes, hello, Mr. Pulowski. One moment, please. Johnny, get over here. Johnny, get over here. Mr. P's on the phone. Lord help me, child, if I swear to you, I will never. How are you doing this afternoon, Mr. Pulowski?
I'm doing awesome. Yeah, it's a beautiful Thursday. Classroom's finally cooling down a little bit, and kids are settling in. It's awesome. And how are you?
I'm doing well. Johnny, I said don't you move.
Sounds like you got your hands full over there. I was just calling to let you know that Johnny did an amazing job presenting on his All About Me essay today.
She did what now?
Johnny, actually the whole class, we were presenting on our All About Me essay. You remember that All About Me essay that went home in the Google Classroom that we've been working on for the past couple of days?
Yeah, I do. I remember Johnny working on that actually last night.
Johnny worked really hard on it, apparently. We've been working on it for a while, and as you saw in those dojo messages that were going out, today was the day that they were presenting, so it was pretty awesome. I just wanted you to know that Johnny did an amazing job. I'm super proud of him, and he was really brave to get up there. So I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, my goodness, Mr. Pulowski. Well, thank you very much for calling me. Johnny, come here, you little cutie.
Home communication, constant home communication is vital. And I've been thinking a lot about this lately. It needs to be fluid and open where that the parents can contact you, you can contact them. I know there's a lot of teachers that prefer it to be one-sided. And we'll get into a couple of those sources later. But, for example, a newsletter is fairly one-sided. There's no real back communication coming from the parents. And I'm a strong advocate for open communication. You need to be there for the parents and answer questions. Let them know that you're available to be there for them. I mean, if you think about it, if you want parents to support you, you have to support them. I mean, that seems logical, doesn't it? Yeah, so home communication is important, right? I mean, aside from the obvious that most parents want to know how their child is doing, not only just for behavior, but they like to know what's happening in the classroom. And if you're constantly updating them on what's going on, it helps out because they're aware of what's happening and they can talk to their child about it. They're like, oh, okay, cool. So you guys are starting pre-algebra today. Or, oh my gosh, that's interesting. You guys were like dissecting a frog in class today. You gotta be kidding. Tell me about that. As parents, we kind of do realize that if you talk to your child and say, hey, how was your day? That's a closed question, right? So what they're going to say is, it was good. Or, what did you do in class today?
I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot.
Or even if you're trying to be specific, did you guys do math or reading today?
Yeah, I guess we did. We kind of did. I don't know. I think we did it after recess or something.
So you're giving parents a powerful tool so they can ask targeted, specific questions like, tell me what you did in pre-algebra, or that's interesting that you're studying nouns. What did you do with nouns? I don't know that all parents are going to take that to that level, but how can they if you're not giving them the tool to do that, right? I would do that. I do that with my parents. I do that with my kids. And not just because I'm a teacher, but because I do want to hear about their school, but I can't really know what's going on unless either my child tells me what's going on or the teacher tells me what's going on. And I love when I get some communication, when I get good communication from the teacher. So that feeds me, gives me conversation starters for my own kids. Having good communication is going to help with behavior, right? I mean, think about it. It goes hand in hand with that children that tend to misbehave have something going on at home. Usually, I mean, not always. Maybe it's an absent parent, a lack of strong structure at the house. Maybe there's personal issues going on inside the family that you're not aware of. Talking with parents brings all of this out. Let me give you an example. So a while back, I had a student that began acting very violent after Christmas break. Typically, this child was pretty reserved. I wouldn't say that this student was very quiet. However, definitely not violent as far as words, but it was odd. He comes back from Christmas break and all of a sudden, he's pushing other students in line or playing basketball or something, and there's a lot of physical touch. Maybe he's playing basketball and he's pushing other kids down. He began talking back to me as his teacher, which he never did. He started talking back to the yard duties when they would correct him on something or call him over. He would be defiant and wouldn't go over to them, or would lie a lot and would say, "No, I didn't do that," type of thing. Or there was just a lot of shutting down. If he wasn't acting out in the classroom, he was shutting down. Wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't look at me, wouldn't respond when I would give him a directive like, okay, it's time to get out our math page or whatever. He just wouldn't do it. He was completely shutting down. So as soon as we get back from Christmas break, I'm trying to contact the parents to figure out what's going on, because this is not typical of this child, and I feel really bad for him. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, what changed over Christmas break, and it was a little hard to get a hold of the parents, to be honest. But once I did get a hold of them, after I did, I found that the parents had separated over Christmas break, that there was a big blowout between his mom and dad in the house. He saw it. The mom ended up leaving the house, and a big separation. So I think he just took that internally, right? Naturally, it's a personal issue that parents don't really want to talk about. Maybe they don't think that they need to tell the teacher. And I'm definitely not saying that parents need to air their dirty laundry to the teachers, but sometimes it can help. In this situation, it did help. Once I found out, they were more than happy to tell me what's going on. The dad talked to me for like close to an hour on the phone, explained to me how it was unfortunate because his son saw it. He wished he hadn't. It had been building up. He didn't expect for that to have a big blowout. He's hoping they could pull it back together. But the odd thing is, here's the odd thing. This child's not really acting out at home, and so he's only doing it at school. So if a kid's only doing something at school, sometimes it's hard for the parents to really know what's happening. They're like, well, they see what their child's like at home, and I guess they just presume that they're not like that at school. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're completely different. We've seen it all the time. I've seen parents come into conference that are shocked how open and energetic their child is at school, because at home they're completely shy and they don't talk much, they don't do anything, and then typically it's the reverse, where parents tell me at conference, yeah, I know you think he's shy, I know you think she doesn't say much in class, you should see her at home. She is nuts. She's always yelling at her sister, or she's always doing this, blah, 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 right? Okay, so how do we make sure that we're connecting with our parents? We have options. Kind of an older way of doing it. And I say older not to put anybody down if you're doing it, because it's absolutely better than nothing. But newsletters where you are typing up something, you run copies, you send it out to all the parents. Here's what's going on in the classroom. Here's what's going to be happening. Here's some issues that I'm seeing. Here's some things that I'm really proud of your children for doing in class. Just a heads up, we got the Christmas program, or we got this coming up, or whatever the case is. Newsletters are really good for that, but waste of paper. Okay, so then maybe you make it digital and you put it on a website. That's awesome too. Now you have to get the parent to actually go to the website. A lot of parents might check the website, and that's pretty awesome. So they check the website, they could see all this information that you're posting, links to websites that they can access, resources to help their kids at home. Once again, you can have the digital newsletter uploaded onto the website. I like that. I think a website is definitely a step up from a newsletter. In my opinion, the bad part of a website is you have to get the parents to look at it. So how do you get them to look at it? I guess you could send reminders of, don't forget to check out the website. Well, if you're going to send out reminders, why not have that reminder be your communication, not just your reminder to access it? I don't know if that makes sense or not. I definitely have a website, but that's not my main communication, but it's better than nothing. We're just listing off some options here. a mass email. You can make an email group, type up a long email. So in a way, this is just like a digital newsletter. You're just going to email it out to all the parents. You could call parents. I love that. I call parents all the time, for good, for bad, for everything. You make communication at home by phone call and voice, and parents love it. They love it. And the kids come in the next day. They're all stoked. Oh my gosh, you called my dad, or you talked to my mom, or blah, 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 blah. Or their behavior completely changes because you had a chance to actually let them know specifically what's happening and how they can help. There's also a program called Remind. It used to be called Remind 101. It's an app, and it's pretty rad. You can put it on your phone, and you can send reminders out to parents. And what's neat about Remind is that they don't necessarily have to have the app to get it. They can get it in their text messaging. And these days, most parents have text messaging. So I could send a remind out saying, hey, don't forget that back to school night is coming up in a week. I'd really appreciate all your support if you can show up. That would mean a whole lot to me and your child. Okay, so you send that out. It shows up in their text message. It's instant. They get it. That's rad. All right, so the negative of Remind, it's not really open communication because they can't message back to you. Strike that. I think they changed it that you can now, but even then it's limited to the amount of characters that you can type. It's just not as flexible as I would like. My number one way of home communication is Class Dojo. I talk about it all the time. If I'm talking about behavior, if I'm talking about communication, if I'm talking about tools that I use in the classroom, Class Dojo is pretty much it. It's got everything. Okay, so let me tell you about Class Dojo and what it is that I like. One, it has messaging. You connect with your parents and it messages them directly. Does it go to text message? No, it goes to their app. So they do have to have an app, but you can message. They can message you back. I can message all the parents. They can reply to me, but not in the group, right? So I can message all my parents. Don't forget about back to school night, blah, 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 blah. Johnny's mom writes back, oh man, I totally forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. All the parents don't see that. I just see it. So that's kind of neat in that. Okay, so Class Dojo has messaging. It also has a feature called Class Story. Class Story is similar to like a classroom social media. It's a feed. I could post pictures. I could post video. I could post informational messages. In fact, using that example of back to school night, I would probably use Class Story and I would attach a picture or the flyer that my school is sending out. So they make a flyer that goes home to all the parents. Most of the parents don't even see those paper flyers. I take a picture of it. I post it on Class Dojo. I write a little message. Can't wait to see you at back to school night. And then similar to social media, parents can comment, but I have control of it. I could delete comments if I don't like it. I've never run into an inappropriate comment. So it's got messaging for personal. It has Class Story, which is like a social media for the classroom. It also has something called Portfolios. Portfolios is for each child. So Johnny does his report on his All About Me essay, and he turns it in digitally. I leave comments, remarks on it, whatever he makes, editing, marks to it, whatever the case is. I could save that. I could post it into his portfolio. His parents can see it. His parents can see all the comments that I made. They can leave notes on it. And that portfolio carries with the child as they go on. So I teach second grade. In third grade, when Johnny goes to third grade, his portfolio goes with him. So his parents constantly are going to have a running digital record of his academics, so long as the teacher's uploading it. It's just more communication. The parents love it. The parents love it. So what else we have? We also have Google Classroom. Google Classroom is what I use to create their digital storage of documents and drawings and spreadsheets and slideshows. A lot of the work that we do in class is stored in Google Classroom because it could transfer to me back and forth. It's just a very effective tool. The power of Google Classroom, parents can log into that. They can see all that information that their child's working on. They can see what they're working on. Google Classroom gives this assignment. Okay, you have the All About Me essay coming up, and then I also want you to work on your Math Mountains. Well, parents can see that and be like, hey, Johnny, you have Math Mountains that is due on Friday. Have you worked on that yet? Let me see some of your progress for that. It's kind of like an up and coming type of thing. So parents can see this is what's happening in the classroom. These are the expectations. These are the activities that are going to be happening. And that's just another form of good home communication. The parents want to know what's happening at school, how they can help and reinforce their child's learning. So let's recap. Staying connected with parents benefits everyone. It feeds the parents info to help support at home. They know what's happening so they can help, both positive and negative. Very often I find myself frustrated with my inability to help a child, or their behavior is affecting the entire class. Gosh, sometimes it feels like it's affecting the whole world. In both situations, contacting the parents can help resolve that, especially when it's frequent contact, not just negative. You want to make it positive, and you want to make it constant. If a parent is ever surprised that you're contacting them, then you are not contacting them enough. They should be so used to hearing from you that it's just second nature. So when you go to them for the good things, when you go to them for the negative things that you need help with, they're used to it because you're always reaching out to them. So that's something to think about. All right, so there you go, guys. Get out there and keep that communication open. It's vital for your classroom, the parents, the students, yourself. It's just going to make you an all-around happier teacher. And that is my goal. My absolute goal this year is to be a happier teacher. That's what we're doing right now, is working on some home communication. I want you to do it too. Thanks for checking into the show, guys. Before we go, I want you to make sure that you're getting out there and hitting subscribe and like on all of the social media for the Lazy Teacher Podcast. It makes a big deal. The show is slowly growing and growing and growing. It feels great, and I love putting the word out there. I also really want you to go check out my friends Mouse and Weens. These ladies are putting out a pretty great podcast, and I can't get over it. They're like a hidden gem in the podcast shows. You definitely need to check it out. I promise you're not going to be sorry about that. If you really want to help the show out a lot, jump onto that social media, search Lazy Teacher Podcast, leave me a comment, give me some ideas. What are you thinking that you would like to hear for the show? Do you like the guests? Do you like the suggestions that I'm giving? Do you like when I'm just kind of giving overall advice? Do you like when I'm just bantering about what's going on at school? Your feedback is critical to the success of the show, and I really, really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Relax as much as you possibly can. We'll catch you guys next time. I hope you got what you came for. See ya!